On today's Community Wednesday, we'll be breaking down a subscriber's AUG build. Way back when Warzone started, the AUG was part of the original meta. It was kinda overpowered with 5.56 ammo, and it got a slight nerf, which reduced the amount of people using it, but it was never a bad weapon. So now after 2 integrations, how does the AUG compare? We'll be using a monolithic integral suppressor, the 407mm extended barrel, 5.56 NATO 30 round drums, stippled grip, and sleight of hand. So let's take a look at the stats of Dark's build, starting with mobility. It's got an ADS time of 270 milliseconds, which isn't the greatest for sniper support weapons. It's got a reload and reload add times of 1.6 seconds from empty and 1.33 if you leave one bullet in the mag, which is extremely fast. And with a mag cap of 30, this reload time is absolutely needed. Its movement and sprint speeds are pretty good, but they're good for Modern Warfare. Sadly, they still can't compete against Cold War and Vanguard weapons. Its ADS strike speed is a pretty average 2.07 meters per second, which isn't the greatest, but it's at least faster than the longer range weapon you're probably pairing it with. Its sprint out and attack sprint out times are 90 and 190 milliseconds, which is pretty fast. Its stability is 1.75, which isn't the greatest for longer ranges, especially when it's moving this fast, but it is usable. Its bullet velocity is 800 meters per second, which is pretty fast for an SMG, and its rate of fire is 11.09 rounds per second or 665.4 rounds per minute. So it gets a mobility score of 37. Its recoil is pretty vertical. Other than the first shot, it just goes straight up. The magnitude isn't too much, but it does cause a lot of screen shaking, especially when there's no optic. So you can reliably use it up to 35 meters. You can definitely push it further, to 50 meters even, but at that point, your accuracy is going to be under 50%. And with a mag cap of 30, that's barely enough to down one person. So it gets a recoil score of 30. For its damage, it has 2 drop-offs, one at 18 meters and another one at 59. Under 18 meters, its headshot TTK isn't the greatest, but its upper torso, lower torso, and limb TTKs are absolutely phenomenal. And if you manage to get one headshot in the mix, you're gonna get an amazing TTK of 452 milliseconds, which means you'll be beating pretty much everything. However, when we pass 18 meters, we enter the point between 18 and 30 meters, where assault rifles are still in their first damage range. Here, all of its TTKs are really bad. You can definitely fight back here, but most assault rifles will have an advantage. Although, with some SMGs, you'll be on par. After 30 meters though, things change, because while it may not be changing its damage profile, other weapons are. And suddenly, its headshot TTK is below average, but its upper torso, lower torso, and limb TTKs are average. And as we all know, an average TTK is actually pretty good for longer ranges. And you'll be getting this TTK way past the range that you should actually be using the AUG. And after 59 meters, where you shouldn't even be considering using it, you're gonna get a really bad TTK for headshots, lower torso and limb, and a below average TTK for upper torso. Pretty much, don't try to use the AUG past 59 meters. It's gonna take you almost a full second to down someone. And with a mag cap of 30 and an expected accuracy rating of 20%, you're gonna have to reload twice in order to down someone. So it gets a damage score of 45. And when we add up all the categories, it gets a final score of 112. The score isn't the highest, but it's expected of many SMGs. The problem is, this build isn't an SMG build, it's a sniper support build. Starting with mobility, its ADS time should definitely be better. You typically want an ADS time under 233 milliseconds. Another thing too is that when you have a longer ADS time, you're gonna have to start hip firing. And with a longer barrel, while you do get a better bullet velocity and range, you won't be getting the same hip fire spread. And while its mag cap definitely works in solos and maybe duos, it wouldn't be really great in trios and quads, since you should be able to down 2 people without reloading at any normal distance. The next thing is its recoil score. It's a few points under most sniper support weapons. The average recoil score for a sniper support weapon is 34. That means that at 58 meters, most sniper support weapons will be getting an accuracy rating of around 70%. And lastly, for its damage score, it's fine. It shines really well in the first damage range, and in the second range, that is absolutely expected of any SMG. In the third, it's pretty average, but doesn't really have an easy way to make a better TTK. And in the fourth, most sniper support weapons would still be able to compete at this range and have an okay TTK, but it's probably not gonna happen. But the thing is, the AUG can't even try to compete at 65 meters because its recoil just won't let it. Now I've just said a lot of negative things about this specific build, but It's not just the build, it's the weapon as a whole. The problem is that its mobility isn't really the greatest. If we didn't have to worry about using so many attachments to either reduce our ADS time or prevent it from getting too high, the AUG would be a much better weapon. And it's very easy to be tempted to use the tac laser. But as we all know, you do not put that on an SMG, no matter how much it could help with ADS time. My AUG build is similar to yours, but also built for a different purpose. So I don't want to share my build and say that you're building yours wrong, because you're not. Your build is valid for solos and duos. If you're pairing this build with a good longer range assault rifle, or an LMG, it's gonna do pretty good. And maybe with an aggressive sniper rifle it would work as well. However, if you start pairing it with an extremely long range rifle, it's not gonna work. The AUG needs some work from Raven, and I have a few ideas for buffs, but I can cover that if I ever end up covering my own optimized AUG guide. But that was Dark Sniper Support AUG. Have you ever tried to use an AUG as a sniper support weapon, or do you usually only use it as a close range weapon? And if there's any other weapon, build, or part of the game you want to break down, let me know and you may see it on the next Community Wednesday. If you enjoyed the video or has helped you in any other way, let me know by leaving a like. If you got any questions or comments, leave them down in the comment section down below. And if you want to make sure that you never miss another video, be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.